Everyone here, I'm sure, is very smart and very savvy. But have you ever fallen for an internet rumor or a myth propagated on social media? I know I have. So let's test how smart and discerning we are. True or false? Gum, when ingested, stays in your stomach for 7 years. True? False. Well, it's actually false. Gum is made of resins and emulsifiers, and it's not something your body can digest. It simply passes through your stomach, your intestines, and it's expelled in 2 to 4 days. But we all fall for it. We all fall for novelty, for fake news. For instance, there are tons of posts on social media about theories about health, right? Kind of pseudoscience. The theory derived from superstition that claims that when if you gift somebody a loved one or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a significant other any footwear, it will end in them breaking up with you. That's seriously a myth or a rumor out there. There is a myth or a rumor about dry drowning or waist trainers. For instance, you'll have a sort of skinnier waist if you sort of wear a girdle like contraption. Um, that if you do targeted exercises, it'll reduce fat in certain places. But these are all actually not true. There are tons of videos on TikTok and YouTube that spout misinformation. Fortunately, since the pandemic, especially, there are lots of doctors that produce their own videos that debunk internet rumors about health, especially health myths. But why does this matter? Why is this important? Well, because especially when you think about health, it impacts our health, our decisions, our practices, our behaviors, our beliefs. For instance, misinformation impacts medical decisions in health, said uh, Mustafa Dayer, who began responding to false claims on TikTok at the start of the pandemic and has since amassed 9.5 million likes on his videos. He has debunked claims that contraception makes women infertile, or that only, quote, natural medicine can be trusted, or that Tylenol is linked to autism. Actually, there's a lot of research that says that false news spreads faster than the truth. Why? Perhaps because it's more novel, it's interesting, it's counterintuitive. But here's a question for us today as we begin to study the history of Christianity. Does good health come from bad research on nutrition? Well, of course not, right? You need good research on nutrition to make good health choices. Also, the sources of health knowledge matter too, right? Where you're getting your information. Like you want to learn about health from doctors, not just people who are selling you something. In other words, many times misinformation comes from people that are trying to sell you their product. So let's change gears here for a minute. Let's take what we've learned within this field of health and apply it to our idea of spirituality. Can misinformation be harmful to spiritual health? Let's think about this for a second. The former Archbishop of Canterbury, a guy named Rowan Williams, has this quote, and it says, "Good theology does not come from bad history." Right? And when I'm talking about bad history, I'm not saying, bad people in history, but I'm talking about badly done history, history that doesn't use reliable sources, or history that is somehow tainted by a certain bias, right? Good theology does not come from bad history. Meaning that when we think about theology, or we think about the ideas about God or ourselves, it doesn't come from badly done history. The point is if we believe that knowing about the past is probably important for being healthy in our understanding of faith, how are we doing as Christians? In fact, there was a 2019 Pew Research study that found that it was actually US Jews that are actually the population that is more knowledgeable about religion in America. Evangelical Protestants were behind. They were the best of the Christian groups, but they only answered 15.5 questions out of 32 um, correct in a survey given. That's a failing grade. And so in this course, we're going to tackle Christian historical myths because just like health, right, we're going to make better decisions about our health if we have reliable information. So too, we're going to make better understandings and formulations about theology, about God, about the church, about the world, about ourselves, if we have a more reliable understanding about Christian history. The word myth can mean many things, right? We're going to tackle these Christian historical myths. On the one hand, we say that myths are just, right, interesting tales and maybe they provide a moral lesson, but they are just fictions, right? Take, for instance, Greek myths such as Zeus and the gods of Mount Olympus. These aren't true history, but they do convey something true about human nature, right? The goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love, or Mars, the god of war. These and other personifications of very real human traits and emotions, such as love and wrath in Greek mythology, tell us a lot about very real human interactions. But on the other hand, when we say myth, we mean something else. Myth has another meaning in our present moment. Myth can mean simply a mistaken belief about something or someone. Myth can actually, so for instance, this idea of the myth about chewing gum, right? That it stays in your stomach for 7 years. It doesn't, right? Just passes through. Television shows like Mythbusters became famous for using experiments to test whether popular beliefs and internet rumors could stand up to verification. And yet, popular internet rumors abound, fake news, misinformation. If we've learned anything from the age of misinformation, it's that popular misunderstandings can actually hurt us. So, in this course, we aim to tackle 5 myths of early Christianity. These are 5 popular understandings about Christian origins, all the way up through to the medieval era until 1500, that have the capacity to hurt our faith and discourage our message of Christ in the world. Good theology doesn't begin with bad history. So in this class, we will turn to history to help us correct some wrong ideas about how early Christianity developed, how it spread, and how it grew over time. The hope is that the habits of mind and the discipline of historical thinking that we'll use in this class might make us not only healthier Christians, but also more well-attuned citizens of a world awash in myths, lies,